sign up for any religion, and that's the fish going downhill into destruction, confinement, and sink into the quicksand of deceiving Neptune, the ruler of Pisces. If you have the moon in Scorpio like Elizabeth Taylor, God bless her soul, you are going to kill the domestic scenery. And if I recall, she was married 6 times, and so is my first wife. She was born with the moon in Scorpio, and I never understood why she was stinging all her husbands. I am husband number 1. After me, she married 5 times, and she has 5 kids with 5 different men. If you have the moon in Scorpio, that stinger, which is again a symbol chosen by the ancient Sumerian to represent death. If you have that moon in Scorpio, death can enter your life from your own base of operation, and creates all sorts of explanation that the police is missing, especially in the case of that little girl in Colorado. What is the name? That little queen that was killed at home. I can't remember her name now. Exactly, but that little girl was born in August. Now, if you count 4, including the months of August, September, October, November, at home, that little girl becomes a Scorpio. And wherever you have Scorpio in your chart, this is where death, drama, and the police will enter your life. It's just rules that I know. These rules are endlessly, constantly asserted to my consciousness every single day. If you have the moon in Sagittarius, like Sag moon, your food, the moon represents emotion, food. Sag moon food is spiritual. It is supposed to receive and produce and give out spiritual food. So if he doesn't get spiritual food, then it's not going to regenerate. Now, the food he may be acquainted to is from the codification of thought, and that could mean religious values, and if he's advanced, then he jump into astrology or anything else, and obviously he is advanced. If not, he wouldn't be digging into the stars. But if you have the moon in Capricorn, then your emotional response to life will be to listen to classical music and to get into politics. If you have the moon in Aquarius, then you're going to be definitely weird and extraterrestrial, will definitely knock at your door, because that is a very interesting moon which predisposes the soul to experience a very original experience right on the base of operations. If you have the moon in Taurus, like President Obama, Taurus is the symbol chosen by Merrill Lynch Corporation, the bull, solidity. That is the symbol that the ancient Sumerian have created to represent money, the banking industry, the bull. When you deal with money, you have to be solid and strong and firmly planted in the ground. So you cannot be washy-washy and dreamy when you deal with money. This is why they created the bull. They draw the sign of the bull. President Obama was born with the moon in Taurus. The moon in Taurus means supreme wealth, supreme solidity, and that's why he lives in the White House. There is, and having the moon, by the way, President Clinton was also born with the moon in Taurus and was there too. So wherever you have that Taurus, this is where you will be allowed to establish emotional, financial, spiritual stability. There is so much information that are available through this old rare science, but it was taken away. It was taken away from us.
Excuse me, Dr. Turi.
You bet.
Sorry. We just had some feedback there, but that's all cleared now. Okay. Thank you, Patrick, for your question. Thank you, Dr. Turi. Your former wife having 5 children and 5 husbands. Wow, she must really have good DNA. We'll move over to predictions and forecasts. My first question, Dr. Turi, is in an interview on Journey into the Light in January 2011, you stated that the negative energy of the dragon plaguing the U.S. economy would end in March 2011. Other researchers think that the economy has been propped up by the Illuminati and is about to crash very soon, leading to hyperinflation, $600 silver prices, food shortages, energy shortages, and riots. What do you see for the U.S. economy and the global economy for the rest of 2011, and maybe for Australia?
Okay, now, first of all, you have to understand that people, when they don't possess cosmic consciousness, all they can use is their physical senses. Okay? When I was on Coast to Coast with George Norrie in December 2007, I must have been probably the first ever guest in all networks in the United States to mention the very words, be ready for a full restructure of the U.S. economy. And at the same time, I said to George Norrie, I said, the beginning of the end will be in March 2011. And if you look at the progress since March 2011, everything is slowly but surely on its way up. So now, this is why I can assure you, if I was able to give you the date a year before in my books and on national radio in December 2007, and if I am confirming that March is the beginning of the end, I can assure you, and that's where you're going to see the beauty of having true cosmic consciousness, that the U.S. economy is going to go right back to where it belongs. And as we hit 2012, 2013, Americans are going to be in a much better place. And when that takes place, that could also lead to the re-election of Mr. Obama. You heard me.
Well, if he doesn't get assassinated, I believe.
Well, of course. Well, you have to remember, he was born with the tail of the dragon in the sign of Aquarius, and that means he's very unlucky with anything electronics, an airplane, an Air Force One, and that nasty energy follows also his wife, Michelle, with the nearly accident they had. As a matter of fact, two other people were born with the same nasty karmic dragon's tail in Aquarius and end up their life in a very sad and shocking way. The first one is the crocodile enter from Australia, Dave Irving, I believe. He died stung by a ray, and he spent his life on television. And the other person is Princess Diana, who literally exploded in the tunnel in France. So when you're born with the tail of the dragon in Aquarius, you are definitely set to end up your life in a very, very shocking way. And this is why it's extraordinarily important for Mr. Obama to be very cautious when he travels, especially on Force One. There is so many things that our science does not understand just yet, and I'm here every single day trying my best to educate people.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you. Yeah. This question is from forum member Easy Chair. We were talking about dowsing and pendulums during the break. There are a lot of forum members who do use pendulum readings and dowsing and see a devastating release of both the New Madrid seismic zone and the West Coast earthquakes, either San Andreas or Cascadia. Do you have any forecasts for those areas and the likely time frame?
Well, basically, the time frame is already set on the set of date that I gave you. I always said that if NASA, USGS, NOAA, if they were willing to work with me, my impeccable timing, and I mention that for good reason because you will be the judge of that if you keep an eye on the date I posted on Webbot's website. If those scientifically oriented, educated people were to stop assuming that I am a Miss Cleo and work with me in terms of following the fault activity with my timing, we could, if we work in harmony together, give you a very precise location. But as it stands now, USGS and NASA, regardless of the billions of dollars of our tax dollars building this sophisticated electronic equipment, they have never, ever been able to give you either a location or a very specific timing. And I do have some inaugural email exchanges with USGS where I told them to be ready on specific day for earthquake well above 6.5. And those two very specific, they had a 7 point something earthquake. I can't recall it right now. And that is traceable, unarguable, dated, and printed. And I did the same also on Coast to Coast with George Norrie when I told him in 2 days from today, be ready for a big earthquake. George laughed and he says, earthquake happened every day, Dr. Turi. I said, George, we're talking about an earthquake above 7.0. And 2 days later, it took place. And it's on his website, and I have the proof. But I am not here to prove my point. I already have it done. Trying to answer your question that if they wanted to give me a chance, not only USGS in terms of natural disaster, but also the police, we will be much more safe here and well informed in using the cosmic codes. But again, I might be a little bit ahead of time for these people, and that's where I'm at. God thanks, there are people like Fox, Patrick, you, Sandra, Lolly, Jill, and Sajmoon that are here to help me to pass on my information because, directly or involved consciously or not, you are part of my mission to further humanity cosmic consciousness. You're doing your part with me, and I thank you for that.
Thank you. In your latest newsletter, you did say that Neptune is now entering Pisces, right? Correct? Having the effect of forcing the world into its last 14-year cycle of emotional battles between the old and the new. Can you elaborate on how this will manifest in our world?
Okay, first of all, it takes 2,000 years for one planet to affect the karmic work of this world. Last 2,000 years, the world was under Neptune. Again, Neptune rules the sign of Pisces. By the way, Pisces rules the Middle East. That's where all the major religions were born. Pisces was also oil, by the way. So, last 2,000 years, the world was under the jurisdictions of a very deceiving planet. Neptune is a dreamer. Neptune is an artist. Neptune is into forgetting reality and getting drunk or getting high, put it this way. The new ruler of this world came along in 1945 when science were able to handle the uranium and plutonium, or Uranus or Pluto, and detonated the first bomb, so to speak. And humanity has made much more discovery in the last 50 years than 2,000 years spent under Neptune power. So Uranus rules the future of humanity, the incredible, the impossible, the reality of UFO, technology, the World Wide Web, the Internet. So this new energy is forcing, as predicted in my prediction, to get the Middle East to implode. Everything about deception, religion, everything about the way people perceive reality, the new dragon and the age of Aquarius is forcing a re-evaluation of wisdom and acceptance. So we're already going pretty fast into the age of Aquarius, and that's going to be quite exciting, especially as we approach the year 2012, which I consider being finally the golden door shutting down the entire age of Pisces. So with Neptune in Pisces, there is still a battle that has to be fought by the remaining of what Pisces represents, which is the Vatican, which is a myriad of deceiving religions that have killed so many people in the name of God knows what. So this hierarchy, this archaic teaching now must give room to a different type of information which is easily reachable through the Internet. Once upon a time, I remember 15 years ago, it was very difficult for me to talk about the stars. And you could go to any hotel and you could be sure you would find the Bible, because this is how they monopolize and control the information. But nowadays you won't find a laptop in every door or in every drawer on any room in a hotel in Las Vegas. So this means a lot of more people through the age and the means of electronic Aquarius can now access